Shabbat Shalom. It is the Shabbat, and I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of Yah, for he is merciful and kind. And I thank him, and I enter into his gates with thanksgiving, into his courts with praise, as we all do. We are the Most High's witnesses, and we bless the King before we pray. We say, Barku et Yahweh, Barku et Yahweh Hamevara, Barukata Yahweh Hamevara Elam Vayed, Barukata Yahweh Eloheinu Melech HaAlam, Asher Bekar Banu Makol Hamayim Natan Lanu HaTorah, Barukata Yahweh Notan HaTorah. It's to say, blessed be Yahweh, blessed be Yahweh the Blessed One. Blessed are you, Yahweh the Blessed One, for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah. To our King, provider, healer, sustainer, and deliverer. To our Elohim, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzhak, and the Elohim of Yaakov, the Elohim of Yisrael. Master, do we come before you once again on your Shabbat, with bowed head and humble hearts, again asking you, O King, to forgive us of our sins, cleanse us of unrighteousness, that our prayers be not hindered this morning. Hear when we call unto you, Master, and turn not a deaf ear to our cries. But once again we ask that you would lend ear to our supplications this day. As you do all days, Master, we ask that you would continue to have mercy upon us. We thank you, Master. We thank you for all things. We thank you for this day that you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. For we are thy witnesses, O King, and we believe thy word, and by the evidence that we have shown up here on your Sabbath day, because you said that you made the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day you rested. And we shall have an assembly, and we shall congregate together. And we congregate, Master, because we are thy people, and we hear thy voice, and we believe thy word. And Master, we do not cast thy words behind us, and they do not mean nothing to us, but your words carry weight with us, O King. So we believe all that thus saith Yah. And you said in your word that no man can die for your sins, but every man must die for his own sins. We believe thy word, O King. We believe that you're going to come back for Israel once again, and you're going to take us back to the land, Master. And you said them that fear you, that talk together, Master, that you heard them, and you wrote their names down in the book, and you shall zakar, you shall remember them, and they shall be your treasured possession. So we fear thee, and we assemble today out of fear, out of love, and out of obedience to thy word. We are thy people, O King. We are the sheep of thy pasture. We ask that you would, that the words of our mouth and the meditation of all of our hearts here, Master, would be pleasing in thy sight, Master. And we ask that you would continue to have mercy upon us, that you would bless us, O King, that you would look upon us with a tender eye, that you would look upon us with kindness, and that when you think upon us in this temple, Master, as a part of your whole plan of Israel, that we would bring a smile to thy face, and that you would bring joy to thy heart when you think upon us, O King, because we are thy people, Master. We thank you for our keeping our children. We thank you for keeping us. We thank you for watching over us as we slept and slumbered throughout the night, that no harm came to us, none that we could see or none that we could not see, Master. But you have clothed us in our right mind. You have taken us out of idolatry, and that you have shown us your truth. And that's why we are here today, Master, because we seek you. Because in your words you say that we should seek you while you can be found. So we seek thee, Master. We seek thee through thy word, because you told our prophets to put it in a book, that it may be a witness against us. So we read thy word, and we are trying to come to an understanding, O King, of thy word, that we may live by it. Because like I said once before, we live by what thus saith you. And we know that you shall not profane your covenant, neither shall you take back that which have gone out of thy lips. But all that you have said shall accomplish that in which you sent it to do, and it shall never fall to the ground. So we love you today, Master. We thank you for life, health, and strength, food, clothing, and shelter, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We ask that you would touch those that are online with us today, that are assembled with us, because the distance may have been too far, Master, or they may be sick in their bodies. We ask that you would continue to heal them, O King, because you are El Rapha. You are our healer, O King. And Master, we just ask that you would continue to keep us until we can meet here again. This is our prayer. Amen.
Shalom to all of you today. It's always good to meet here in the presence of the Most High with his people who have gathered for this sacred and holy convocation in remembrance of what the Most High has done for his people. Join with me, if you would, please, in our reading of Songs of Solomon, chapter number 3. As we read this, this is a love song of love that Israel is recording to the Most High, who is the lover of Israel, who says, Israel, I love. Chapter 3. Night after night on my bed, I look for the man I love. I look for him, but I didn't find him. I will get up now and roam the city through the streets, the open places. I will look for the man I love. I looked for him, but I didn't find him. The guards roaming the city found me. Have you seen the man I love? Scarcely had I left them when I found the man I love. I took hold of him and would not let him go until I had brought him to my mother's house, to the bedroom of the women who conceived, to the woman who conceived me. I warned you, daughter of Jerusalem, by the gazelles and the deer and the wilds, not to awaken or stir up love until it wants to arise. Who is this coming up from the desert like the column of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, chosen from the merchant's crushed spices? It's Shlomo's litter, escorted by 60 valiant men chosen from Israel's finest. All of them wield a sword and are expert fighters. Each one has his sword ready at his side to combat the terrors of night. King Shlomo made himself a royal litter of wood from the Lebanon. He made its columns of silver, its roof of gold, its seat of purple cloth. Its inside was lovingly inlaid by the daughters of Jerusalem. Daughters of Zion, come out and gaze upon King Shlomo wearing the crown with which his mother crowned him on his wedding day, his day of joy. How beautiful you are, my love. How beautiful you are. Your eyes are doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats streaming down Mount Gilead. Your teeth is like a flock of shorn sheep. They have just come up from being washed. Each of them is matched, and none of them is missing. Your lips are like a scarlet thread, and your mouth is lovely. Your cheeks are like pomegranates, split open behind the veil. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built magnificently, on which hangs 1,000 bucklers, and each one a brave warrior's shield. Your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of gazelles, grazing among lilies. When the day's cool breeze comes upon and the shadows lengthen, I will get myself to the mountain of myrrh, to the hill of frankincense. Everything about you is beautiful, my love. You are without a flaw. Come to me from the Lebanon, my bride. Come with me from the Lebanon. Come down from the heights of Amanah, from the heights of Seir and Hermon, down from the lion's lair, the leopard-haunted hills. My sister, my bride, you have carried my heart away. With just one glance, with one bead of your necklace, you have carried my heart away. My sister, my bride, how sweet is your love. How much better your love than wine, more fragrant than perfumes and any spice. Your lips, my bride, drip honey. Honey and milk are under your tongue, and the scent of your garments is like the scent of the Lebanon. My sister, my bride, is a garden locked, a pool covered over, a spring sealed shut. You are an orchard that puts forth pomegranates and other precious fruits, henna and nard, nard, saffron, aromatic cane, cinnamon, and all kinds of frankincense trees, myrrh, aloes, all the best spices. You are a garden fountain, a spring of running water flowing down from the Lebanon. Awake, north wind. Come, south wind. Blow on my garden to spread its fragrance, like my darling entering his gardens and eat his finest fruit. Ah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. You may be seated. I, I'm, I'm becoming enthralled with reading this particular portion of text as it expresses the relationship of Israel to the Most High and how Israel sees the Most High as King Shlomo has so graciously poemed it and brought it into fruition for us to be able to see and to realize how awesome our King is, and how he looks at Israel and how we're supposed to look back at him. The love verbiage. I don't know if you heard the podcast that Sean and I did this past week in reference to Black History Month and how we talked about the opulent greatness of the Hebrew nation of Israel, her strength, the fact that the Most High created man from the dust of the ground. The dust was not white. And Adam's name carries a color within it. It's called Adam. The prefix of the name Adam is Dam, which is the Hebrew name for blood. And if we do not expose blood to oxygen when you see it, it's very, very dark. So not only was the first man created from the dust of the ground and given a melanation within his complex and his what he looked like, the blood running through him also carries that same hue. It is from that man, Adam, that every ethnicity is created. It is from that hue are all species of humanity on the face of the earth created. So it is that the man of color, irrespective of the imperialistic idea that they are superior, they can't be superior because we can make them, they can't make us. I mean, as we celebrate Black History Month, we have to also realize that being created by the Father of all things, who has created everything in the Shemayim, the heavens, and the Eretz, the earth below, and everything in it, our Father has the ability to create all things. So, would it not be a natural, um, what's the word I'm looking for? A natural action that his sons and his offsprings would also carry the DNA of their father. Come on now. Would we not carry the DNA of our Father, the Most High? Yes, we do. Thank you kindly. With that being the case, as we celebrate Black History Month, I always say we can't celebrate Black History Month without including our ancestors. But I realize that there's a plethora of people who look like us that don't know that our ancestors are us. We have this melanated appearance. They don't realize that. So if I go down through a list of the creative work of the melanated man that's part of the societal functionality by which we function by, even to this day, current and past, we don't have GPS without the creative work of a person of color. We don't have cell phones without the creative work of a person of color. We don't have home security without the creative work of a person of color. I'm talking about the Negroid person. We don't get to bask in the heat of the summer with air conditioning without the creative work of a person of color. We don't get to store our meat in a cool place where it can be maintained and frozen until we get ready to use it without the creative work of a person of color. And the delicacy of getting a scoop of ice cream. It tastes so good in the summertime, even in the winter. The scoop itself, the creative work of a person of color. I love to play golf, but even the tee that they put in the ground that they wouldn't let a black man step on a golf course and play, the tee that they tee the ball up with, the creative work of a person of color. You see, if I'm going to celebrate Black History Month, then I need to bring to the forefront, to the minds of everyone who just thinks we're talking about what's taken place since Plymouth Rock. Our history goes back and predates Plymouth Rock, and we are a people that the Most High birthed in Mitzrayim, Egypt. And with a strong and mighty hand, he brought us out of Mitzrayim and sequestered our ancestors in a desert place and began to pour into them his rules, his laws, and his teachings by which we live by. Great men such as Abraham, great men before Abraham such as Shem, and great men such as Moshe, Moses, and great men like the prophets, and at least I should leave out our everlasting anointed Moshiach, Oh, I'm talking about King David. You thought I was talking about Jesus Christ. No, I'm talking about King David, our anointed king, who the Most High said would be our king forever. I celebrate them because we today stand on the shoulders of those people. And we're blessed today to understand the principles that the Most High gave to those people to teach us how we gain eternal life through the rules and through the teachings that he gave to those people. Mm-hmm. So I celebrate the Martin Luther Kings and the James Bonds and the Supreme Court Justice Marshall and all of those people. I celebrate them too because they stand on the shoulders of the grace that the Most High has given to his people in this exile, that has caused them all to be able to prosper and have something as opposed to nothing. Even though the majority of them don't know who he is, they refer to him as God. Well, God. Well, I have to ask a question. If you say you love God, I have to ask you which one. And you look at me strange as though I'm asking you some strange thing. How many gods are there? Let's see. Do the Indians have a God? Do Buddhists have a God? Do the Chinese have a God? Do all these other nations, do they have gods? Yes, they do. Do the Muslims have a God? Yes, they do. So, when you tell me that you love God, I have to ask you which one. Far be it from me that I'll ever open my mouth to anybody and tell them, God bless you. Because I don't know what God you serve. But when I open my mouth to say something kind to you, I'll say shalom, which is indicative of the peace that the Most High has given to everyone who, in spite of our living and walking according to his rules and his mitzvot, and a people who are still obstinate in that relationship, who won't even acknowledge that the Most High has a name, won't even acknowledge that the testimony of the commandments and the mitzvot are still in play and active and work within his people today, won't even accept that. Won't even stop to honor the Shabbat, the Sabbath, as he's given to us, but worship on an idolatrous day such as Sunday. And realize that the creator of all things in this exile has given you something that you don't even appreciate. It's called grace and mercy. Not realizing that our failure to keep his rules, keep his directions, keep his laws, and keep his Sabbaths, and eat correctly, and do this and do that and do that and do this, according to his rules and directions, not understanding that we were worthy of death. But because of his long suffering and his mercy and grace, are we here today? So, in honor of Black History Month, I honor my ancestors that have gone before me and those that are part of our generations since we have been exiled out of the land into this land. I honor them too, but not without honoring those that set the table before all of us decided that we just don't want to follow the Most High and want to be like other nations. So I give all praise to who? I give all praise to the mighty Yah. Can we all say, hallelujah? Moray Appleton, yes, sir. Are you ready? Yeah. Are you anxious? More than. Am I holding you up? No, sir. The microphone is yours.
I greet you with Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the beneficent, the Most High Yahweh, who has allowed me to be here before you yet another Shabbat. One more again. You know how to finish. I'm looking at you. I'm glad to see you today. Shabbat Shalom. One more again, just to tell it like it is. All right. The one that has created everything in 6 days. We worship the power of Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Moshe, Sarah, Yehudit, Esther, Ruth, right? All our patriarchs and matriarchs that have trusted in the ways of the Most High, that have allowed us to stand on their shoulders. So I thank the Most High for allowing me to be here today with all of you. To all of you that are viewing us by way of the stream, to those of you that are in a destitute place. I'm using that word, but it's probably more than I want to use that parlance. But for those of you that are kind of sequestered in an area where you can't get to a congregation, to those of you that actually have an ailment in your body that will not allow you to be here today, for those of you that are observing the mitzvot. Now, there's several of them that may keep you away from observing the Shabbat. To all of you, Shabbat Shalom. To all of our descendants that are here with us today, those that are not here with us today, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Like the Moray said, hopefully you will hear something today that will help you stand on the shoulders of giants so you can see further. We only have the information that we have today. We know that there's a lot more that's out there. And hopefully, by the ways of you walking in the Most High, you discover those ways to discover a closer walk with the Most High. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Now, I'll wait. You said you ain't got to wait long. Y'all know what to do. You called it out. Where is it at? It's in Vayikra, what? Chapter what? 19, verse what? 32. Okay. Now, I want to extend this, and I don't hope that I offend anybody when I say this, because 19 and 32 says that you are supposed to stand in the presence of those that have gray hair. Now, if you color your hair to get rid of your gray, because you are gray, that considers you to be gray, okay? Half the congregation done sat down. Turn to the person closest to you. Look them in the eye and tell them Shabbat Shalom. We honor those. We honor our elders. We honor those with gray hair. Why? Because they have wisdom. The mitzvot, when we were going through the mitzvot last week, what did we constantly see the whole entire tone of those mitzvot? Honoring what? Our ancestors, honoring our parents, honoring our family members. The tone and culture of Hebrew people is honor and integrity towards not only ourselves, but to one another and to our community. So there are things that you won't have. Do we have a mitzvot? Or matter of fact, do we have a law in the United States that says you have to honor your mother and your father? That you got to give reverence to those that are come before you? No, we don't. Hebrew Israel has a whole entire different climate. That's why I said when you come in here, you want to put on your Hebrew cap. You don't want to put on your westernized culture cap, okay? Because if you're applying those principles to this, it won't work, okay? You'll be constantly beating your head up against the wall saying, "Wah, things are not fair. You guys are misogynistic over there. You guys are doing everything to make sure that, oh, you're keeping men and women down and you're under control and all this other stuff." No, we're not. When you guys come in here and we study the mitzvot of the Most High, you're studying a different language. You're studying a different culture. You're just studying a different demographic, a different geographic. That's not the United States of America. So don't fall into that trap. So, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Okay, now I'm glad that we got through that. To Moray Beacom, to Moray Yeshai Beverly, to Bruh Charles, to the Honorable Robert B. Holman Jr., Shabbat Shalom to all of you gentlemen. Now, to my studio audience, I got to get through this because I got a lot to talk about today. To my studio audience here that's with us, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. So I want to say to you, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Now, when I usually do these introductions, and if you listen to me, I do them the same way every single week, right? Okay. I left out a group out of my introduction. You know who that group was? Okay. See that? So what did you say? The lazy. I left that group out. Okay. Now, I want to take a different approach today. Okay? I want to take a different approach today because it's been said several times, but I want to give the receipts because where I'm at right now is a level of semi-frustration. And in my frustration, I said, you know what? What I need to do is I need to let the Most High handle it. Okay? I'm going to let the Most High handle it. Now, I need some license to do what I'm getting ready to do. Let's build this up like a good attorney in a courtroom. I need license to speak. And I call upon my first witness, which is Vayikra chapter number 19, verse 17. Let's go there and read it. Vayikra, which is the book of Leviticus, chapter number 19. And we're going to start at verse 17, and we're going to hit 17 and 18. Understanding, intent, application. Mitzvot, right? That's what we study. Let's read this. I'm going to read it for you. It says, "Do not hate your brother in your heart, but rebuke your neighbor frankly so that you won't carry sin because of him. Don't take vengeance or bear a grudge against any of your people. Rather, love your neighbor as yourself." Where have you heard that before? You heard that across the street, right? Wow. I am signed Yahweh. Okay. Now, if I had to go across the street for 2 seconds, you can already tell that there's a flaw in what this guy is actually saying, what JC and the Paulettes are saying across the street, because when they ask him what's the greatest commandments, he says what? To love the Most High and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Where's the first part of this mitzvot at? Where is the first part of it? He never quotes the first part of it. What's the first part of it? It says, do not hate your brother in your heart, or rebuke your brother. Matter of fact, rebuke your neighbor, frankly, so that you won't carry sin because of him. Let's go slow and break this one down. Okay, let's start by asking some questions. This is a mitzvot to whom? Hebrew Israel. Okay. Do not hate your brother in your heart. Are we talking about applying this to Christians? This is to Hebrew Israel, okay? Understanding, if I see my brother doing something, right? Because it says, so that you won't carry sin. What is the definition of sin? Violation of the law. So we know that if we see our brother doing something that's in a violation of the law, what? We're supposed to rebuke them, right? Frankly, don't, let me explain it a different way or put some more context on it. That doesn't mean I got to sugarcoat it, right? Oh, I got to take your feelings and your emotions into account. Or I don't want to say nothing because I know you're going to take it the wrong way. It says, frankly, I'm telling you forthrightly, okay? Now, I love how this mitzvah is beautifully crafted because what it does for the hearer is it automatically fixes your attitude when you do it. What does it say? Rather, love your neighbor as yourself. How would I want you to present a violation of the mitzvot to me? Is the same way in reciprocity I should be doing it to you. If you come to me a certain kind of way, you're not coming to me trying to, act like I'm beneath you because you wouldn't want me to come to you that way. So pull me aside, tell me forthrightly. What does that already assume? That assumes that do not hate your brother in your heart, but rebuke your neighbor frankly so that you won't carry sin. It automatically assumes you know all the mitzvot already upon which you're calling them out for. Okay? So this one is a kind of a complex one because it already seems you know the mitzvot. Okay? So, also what this mitzvot beautifully does is it says for us, for those that are hearing it, don't get on your high horse too quick. Because what is it doing? It's making you accountable. Hebrew Israel is accountable to Hebrew Israel. You are not allowed to stand by and watch your brother break mitzvot and not say anything. Because why? The mitzvot already builds it in there. Because now you become an accomplice to what they're doing. Okay? I see you breaking it. You have decided that you want to keep silent because, I'm going to hurt their feelings or whatever. You decided, it's awkward. The mitzvot does any of that written in there? Because of your emotions? Because the situation is awkward? No. It says rebuke them frankly. And that goes for this person standing on the stage too. I don't want to get up here and act like I'm on a high horse either. If I'm doing something that's out of bounds, this is what I expect. Pull me aside. Talk to me. Show me the receipts. All right? Show me the mitzvot. Okay? So we can get a good understanding of what's going on. Okay? Now, before I get to your question, I'm going to ask something of all of you. Does this say that this is specific to the Levites? Is this specific to the tribe of Dan? Is this specific to the tribe of, give me another one, Naphtali, Zebulun, Judah? No? Yosef, Ephraim, Manasseh, who else? Gad. It's to whom? Israel. Everybody in Hebrew Israel. So this is not specific to a specific group. So it's for everybody. Okay? Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Oh, he said, come on, give him the microphone. It's right there. Because we're going to have a lot of discussion. There's probably going to be a point in here today that we're going to have a good mid-rash towards the end of 22. Okay? Go ahead and say that again, sir. You got his microphone on. Yeah, y'all more raising, you just need a mic up just automatic. I don't even know why you don't have yours.
I just wanted to come in right there and just reiterate what you said because the scripture said that if you rebuke a wise man, he becomes wiser.
He becomes wiser.
And if you rebuke a fool, he'll get mad at you. So if you get mad that somebody is trying to tell you the truth, you a fool.
All right. Now we need to put that down right there. You see? Now, do I have license? Now, because first, I want to make sure that we understand that this mitzvot is speaking to you first. That means that the mitzvot starts with the person that's witnessing the violation. You have a choice at that point whether you're going to say something or not, whether or not you're going to become an accomplice or not. Those are the choices that this mitzvot gives you. Now, I'm going to say something because I said something earlier that's been bothering me, and I'm going to let the Most High deal with it, okay? So, I'm going here first because I'm trying to establish precedent that I have the liberty to say what I'm getting ready to say. I'm getting ready to offer rebuke. I'm going to do it frankly and forthrightly. Now, I know I'm going to upset some folk, okay? Because you can't tell adults what to do. You go and pull an adult on the side, they're going to get into their feelings, especially when they're guilty, okay? So it takes a level of maturity. So again, I love how the mitzvot is written. Rather love your neighbor as yourself. When you come and bring this to me, bring it to me in a way that I will receive it. Now, is that what JC was talking about across the street? Did he teach that mitzvot like that? You just thought, oh, okay, just do good to me. No, this has everything to do with when you see a Hebrew brother breaking a mitzvot, you go to them. That's the part in Christianity that they ain't going to tell you because it has to deal directly with the mitzvot. All right? Okay. I have liberty. Do I have liberty? Do I have liberty? Do I have liberty? Do I have liberty? I'm looking at my mores. Do I have liberty? I have liberty. Okay. Shemote, chapter number 31, verse 15 through 17. You know who I'm getting ready to talk about. 31, Shemote. Exodus, chapter number 31, verse 15 through 17. You know this. You should quote this by heart. You told it to me. I'm messing with you. 31, 15 through 17. On 6 days, work. I'm just reading the Shabbat issue from the mouth of Moshe. So this is text. I'm giving you the receipt. On 6 days, work will get done. Okay? But the seventh day is Shabbat, for complete rest, set apart for whom? Yahweh. Whoever does any work on the day of Shabbat must be put to death. Understand the mitzvot. The death portion of this mitzvot is directly related to the execution of work. They catch you doing some work on the Shabbat, death penalty. Okay? This is prescribed when we're in the land. You can't carry this death penalty out obviously in exile. Okay? Let's keep going. It says 16. The people of Israel. Y'all know who that is. That's all of y'all, right? Okay. The people of Israel are to keep the Shabbat. Pretty straightforward. To observe the Shabbat through some of their generations. All of their generations as a what? Perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the people of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, or the Hashemayim and the Haaretz. But on the seventh day he stopped working and rested. The death portion of this is connected to work. The other portion of this is connected to resting. You're supposed to rest on the Shabbat, right? Okay, we're reading the mitzvot. Let's mosey on over to Vayikra, chapter number 23, verses 1 through 3. Vayikra, Leviticus, chapter number 23, 1 through 3. Now, 23 in Vayikra is very famous because it gets you to when all of these Moedims are set aside to be. Let's go through it. It says, Yahweh said to Moshe, tell the people of Israel the designated times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set apart. Everybody say it with me. Convocations are my what? Designated times. This is a convocation. Work is to be done on 6 days, but the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest. A what? Set apart. Say it. Convocation. You are not to do any kind of work. It is a Shabbat for Yahweh even in your homes. In case you didn't know what the definition of a convocation is, let's just Google it and look it up real quick, because I know you won't do it, so I did it for you. Convocation. A convocation is a large formal assembly of people. Let me say that one more time for the folks that are listening to me on their keyboard right now. A large formal assembly of people. Second definition, the action of calling people together for a large formal assembly. That is what a convocation is. Nowhere in those mitzvot did you read that I'm going to do what I want to do today. Nor did it read anything about taking into account any of your excuses. I'm talking about everybody that has decided to stay where they are, is able to get to a congregation and does not. Because I'm tired. Because I want to work out. Because I got to work. Okay? I said it. I said the quiet part out loud. Because I got to work. There's nothing stopping you from telling your employer, I can't work on the Shabbat. It is a day of rest for me. Do you think the Muslims got a problem going and telling their employers that they can't work on certain days? So why do you? I'm talking to Hebrews. I'm not talking to Christians. I'm not talking to Hebrews united in Christ, because those are Christians. I'm not talking to the Messianics. I'm not talking about Hebrew roots, because those are different variations of Christians who have acquiesced to being more Hebraic. They're not Hebraic. They're Christians. Okay? I'm talking to Hebrew people. There's too many of y'all that are sitting at home that should be in a congregation. And again, I didn't say come here. I said get to a congregation. And your excuses are nowhere written in any of the mitzvot. Did it say because I'm tired? I don't want to. I got my feelings hurt. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I got other issues going on that will keep me from. Do you understand what in the world you're doing? This is why this is so important for the Shabbat, because what it defines for you is this age-old proverb that says, I believe what you do before I believe what you say. So if you say that you love me, then you what? Keep my commands. And what you've done is you've prioritized your feelings and emotions over the mitzvot of the Most High, which says, you know what? When it comes down to doing something for the Most High, I come first, and then we'll see. The Most High is trying to establish a precedent that says, listen, if you're going to do these, do them like I asked you to, okay? Now, like I said, I wanted to do this because I'm tired of calling folk out every single week. Y'all know better. And y'all letting petty reasons keep you from observing the mitzvot. Please rebuke me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at my mores. Am I out of bounds? Okay? We got to get this right. Listen, I want to go back to the mitzvot, okay? Let's go back to this mitzvot that I quoted. Bruh B, can you go back to Vayikra chapter 19, verse 17 through 18? Because this is what I'm not going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. Vayikra. Let's go back to Vayikra chapter 19. Verse 17 through 18. This is what I'm not doing. And I want to emphasize this. This is why I'm doing this today. Because I got to do it. It says, don't hate your brother in your heart. I'm not. Because if I hated you, I'd just let it happen. But you know what? It gives me right in the mitzvah, I can't do that. So don't hate him. But rebuke your neighbor frankly, so that you won't carry sin because of him. Listen, I don't want us to be in exile any longer than we have to, because y'all have decided that y'all don't want to follow these mitzvos, that you're wishy-washy with them, okay? I'm not going to be an accomplice to something that you're doing. And I'm going to let it rest right there. I just wanted to read these mitzvos so you understand that this is a serious thing this Shabbat. Okay? You shouldn't be blowing this off. And again, if you're putting your feelings or emotions or anything else in front of your agenda or anything else, that is not written in the mitzvot. It says you are to congregate. Again, I never said come to FDF. I'd rather you go ahead and fulfill the mitzvot first. Okay? All right. I'm on good ground. Yes, sir. Please.
Moray, this particular mitzvot here in Vayikra 19:17 is a mitzvot that's going to apply when Israel is redeemed back in the land thoroughly, firmly, and straightforwardly. This mitzvot here is the reason why 2/3 of you will never make it to the 8th day. This one right here is, see, we're in exile now. We've got it, which is grace. Some of us are going to be revocated to a good standing, as Daniel proclaimed. Some of us are not. Those of you that get revocated to the land, and we get back into the land, the mitzvot are going to be 100% in play, every last one of them, and the death penalty will occur. But because you refuse to honor the ways of the Most High as He's indicated, you won't make it into the 8th day. And I'm telling you now, as I've said this before, if I'm in the land and I see you breaking the mitzvah, I'm going to tell you.
Exactly.
For this reason. I'm going to tell you now, and I'm going to tell you when you get in the land. And I'm going to tell you we need to go speak to the Kohanim.
Right. Right. We need,
because
exactly.
I'm not going to be guilty of carrying your sin that I see you doing, because now when I do that, I am culpable with what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let's
and
ask.
You ain't going to keep me out the 8th day.
Exactly. 100%.
I come too far. You know, so I come too far. I've come too far to turn back now.
Yeah.
Over some stupid stuff.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Moray, just real quick, I thought Moray Holman was going to say this, but he told the prophet Ezekiel, he said, they're not going to listen to you because they don't even listen to me. You don't even listen to the creator of heaven and earth. So why would they listen to us?
Right.
But you do have a question on the
chat. What's the
that says, is convocating via stream, is that part of the convocation?
Okay. So that's why we said so the question is convocating on stream a part of convocating? Okay. Let's answer this in specificity. Because that's the way we kind of opened, okay? So the answer to the question is no. Okay? Flat out. Except for how we explained it when we opened. We said, if you are infirmed, that you get to the point where you can't get here because of some ailment, then you're okay. Let's take it another step further. If you have observing a mitzvot. Now the mitzvots that would apply to that are mitzvot for what? Cleanliness. All right? That is an exception, right? Physical ailment, observing the mitzvot, mainly germane around cleanliness. If you cannot get to a congregation and there's no one around you, it's a distance issue. There's no feasible way for me to get to a congregation. Then there's an exception. Because the Most High knows the intention of your heart that says that if there was one, I'd be there. So in that regard, I'm saying those are the criteria for exception. Now I want to bring all of these up. Each one of these exceptions, or at least the ones about cleanliness, if you're going to use that one as an excuse, are only temporal. Some of y'all been out here for 3, 4, 5 months. Okay? Some of y'all been claiming. Now, I understand that there's some ailments that are out there. That's why I didn't include that group in there, because there are some ailments that will keep you away. But these excuses that you're coming up with when you're applying no effort, the Most High sees that. Okay? So hopefully I answered the question. Did I answer the question, Moraes? Do you have anything? I'm looking at all my Moraes. Do you got anything else you need to add?
Yeah, I just want to say, just in clarity, We have people on the stream in various states that don't have a Hebrew congregation
Right.
To congregate with, and they're congregating with us on the stream. To those of you, that answer is you're congregating with us because you can't get to a congregation.
Correct.
There's
Correct.
not a Hebrew congregation for you to congregate with. So he's not talking to you.
Yeah, 100%. There are people that we know that were a part of this congregation that moved somewhere else that want to be a part of this congregation that are going to another congregation that I'm thinking about. Even though they may not totally agree, they're there because they're honoring the Shabbat, okay? We're not going to agree on everything. I told you before, there are certain things that every single one of my mores that I pointed to, there's something that we don't agree on. But it's not enough to be like, you know what, I'm breaking faith and I'm not coming back there anymore. We got to be able to be, kind of mature about how we deal with things. And we ultimately know amongst all of us that we'll be settled when we get back into the land. It won't be a discussion when we get back there because everything will be set. There won't be any arguing between it because what do they say? Let's go up to Jerusalem so we can hear the what? The word of the Most High being taught. So we'll have it at that particular point. But while we're in exile, we need to be a little bit mature about where we are, okay? We on good ground. Okay, good. I don't want to talk about this anymore. All I'm going to do from here on out when I get to that portion is I'm just going to quote the text and let you and the Most High deal with between you. Okay. Let's move forward. I want to get through chapter number 22 of Shemote. We are continuing our study with our Hebrews and as they transverse in the wilderness. Come on, cliff notes real quick. What have we accomplished so far at the beginning of at least the book of Shemote? We see the inception of Moshe. We see the Hebrew people get birthed out of Mitzrayim. We see them cross the Red Sea. We see them go and actually, they see all the plagues that happened in Mitzrayim. That happened in the book of Shemote earlier on. We see them transverse to 2 different locations, and we actually see them get into a war before they arrive at the foot of Mount Horeb or Mount Sinai to get the mitzvot from the Most High. And then I told you there was one famous chapter that you need to remember. Everybody remember that famous chapter? Chapter number 20. What's so significant about chapter number 20? That is the Ketubah. That is where we see the so-called Christian 10 commandments show up, right? That is a misconception, and I will continue to keep saying that. It's a misconception because you see the first 10 things that the Most High says to the nation of Hebrew Israel. After the first 10 things are said, Hebrew Israel says to Moshe, the Most High is talking way too loud. His microphone is turned way too up. He's squelching and it's feeding back. We don't want to hear that no more. You go talk to him privately. And then once you get done talking to him privately, you come back and tell us what he said. Okay? That's the gist of it, okay, on where we're at. We got through first set. We went through chapter number 21. Now we're continuing on with the rest of the mitzvot that the Most High is articulating to Moshe, okay? So we're going to do mitzvot. We're going to continue to keep doing mitzvot, all right? Okay, good. Now, as we go through this, I'm going to try to be as thorough as possible. That's why instead of covering like 2 chapters a week, I'm probably going to end up doing 1 chapter a week because we got to expose understanding, intent, and application in exile. Now, the mitzvot that the Moreh was talking about, can we do that mitzvot in exile? Go to our brother frankly, rebuke them, tell them where they're violating the mitzvot, right? So that we don't become accomplices in it. Can we carry that out right now in exile? Absolutely. I just did it. Okay? That's why I established license to do so. All right? So let's continue on with these mitzvot. Matter of fact, I want to ask a fun question because y'all getting ready to go to sleep on me. Yes, ma'am.
It was signed, I am Yahweh.
Yes.
That was my question. So, because we never see it in let's say, Christian structure.
That's correct.
Or
That's
Bible.
correct.
And so, but I find, I don't know how many times in the Torah where it's signed.
Mm-hmm.
But as we've been going over, what keeps popping in my head is that whenever he tells us something,
Mm-hmm.
it's regardless.
Oh, look at that.
Regardless. So in my mind, it's regardless. Regardless of what you thinking, what you got going on, regardless. And then when he signs it, and period.
Period.
What questions are we having? It's not, tain't no questions. So I'm just like, but he signed it. And he's saying, I signed it. Boom, it's me. I said it. It's done. I don't.
See.
So I'm over here like, I don't, it's signed.
Exactly.
It's literally signed.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
So that's you gave us that. That's a good testimony of revelation, because it's how you actually look at this book, because this book is set up so that, number one, it's selling you a particular person at the end of the day. It's selling you JC and the Paulettes, because when you ask the average Christian, what do they believe? They believe in Paul. They don't believe in Jesus, okay? Let's just get that straight. You don't believe in JC. You believe in Paul, because JC will tell you to do the mitzvot. JC will tell you that Yahweh is my El. JC will say that. But then you go over to Paul. What does he say in Thessalonica? What does he say in Corinthians? What do he say is over this? So you go and you believe Paul, right? Or you follow Paul. JC is only the conduit upon which in Christianity you get your salvation, which is a twisted way of looking at it. That's all he is. Because if you actually followed what this man was saying, when you look at the plethora of his work over the 3 years, he's quoting nothing but mitzvot. He's misquoting them, and using them improperly, but he's still quoting the mitzvot. So even if you were doing that, it should have driven you right back to Hebrew Israel. But it doesn't, because what you want to do is invalidate your own deity by going and talking to Paul. Right? What does Paul say? Well, blah, blah, blah. And again, I want you to put this in the proper perspective. Paul is no different than T.D. Jakes. Paul is no different from Jamal Bryant. Paul is no different from Steve Furyk. He's no different from Joe Osteen. He's no different from any of these other street ministers that are out here, giving their opinion on text. That's all Paul's doing. That's his opinion. Where is it, does it ever say that Eye Asher Eye appeared to Paul and told Paul, say this to Hebrew Israel? Never. So let's just put that in the proper perspective, okay?
Moray,
Yes, sir.
here's the problem with the question that you asked. And see, we use the word, we add the word signed, Yahweh. If I read that particular text in the King James, it's going to say, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So the problem is that the transliteration of all Bibles does not follow the transliteration of the Masoretic text. By changing the name at the end, I am the Lord, they've changed it to Lord instead of Yahweh. They've removed the Father's name out of text. As I said this before, it's been removed over 68,000 times in text to be either Lord or God. So that's the reason why it is. But when we say it, we add the addition to it, sign, because he is signing it. I am Yahweh.
Sign it, yep.
Yeah. So if we're going to read this in the Hebrew text, it would come up, and it wouldn't even come up Adonai as Stern has. It would come up Yahweh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good. We good? We good. Okay. Let's get into these mitzvot. If a thief. All right. Okay. Now, we already know we have a mitzvot prior to this that says you shall not what? Steal. All right. Okay. If a thief caught in the act of breaking in is beaten to death, it's not murder. Unless it happens when? After sunrise. So you could have, listen, I'm in there and I'm beating on who else is in there, and I don't know how hard I'm going because it's dark, okay? Okay. if it's in the daytime, at least you have some restraint on what's going on. Okay? I think that's what this is kind of getting to. All right? Now, I want to break it right there because the second part, if you kind of read it along and string it along, you would think this is a part, at least in my mind's eye, my mores can correct me if I'm wrong. This is a totally separate mitzvot right here that's going on with this next sentence. But again, if I go back and catch the first one, if a thief is caught breaking in and is beating to death, okay, we understand the mitzvot. We understand how it's set up. Thief comes in your house, tries to do whatever, you beat them up to the point that they die. It's not murder, but if it's after sunrise, you can't go hard on them like that, okay?
Well, that's a law. That's a civil law in our
Sure.
government today. If a person comes into your house, if a thief comes into your house, you have the right to destroy them.
Right. You're trespassing on private property. Yeah.
But they have to be on your property.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
This mitzvot kind of expands it upon, it says in our law, it doesn't designate what time of day it is. Right. At least this mitzvot kind of puts some restraint into it as well to say it's a further issue of saying, we got to be humane here, okay? A little bit humane. Yes, ma'am, you were going to say something. Okay, you have the opportunity to bring them before a judge. Yes. Yep, you may go hard on somebody. We're trying to be humane against with our Hebrew people, okay? That's the intent, that's the understanding. Can we carry this out in exile? No. Not the back part of it. Not pretty much it. What you should be doing is somebody, you can defend yourself, right, okay? I don't want you to be like abandon it and throw it all away, okay? But this particular one in specificity, the correct answer is no. Okay, but there's certain things that I'm glad the Moray brought up that are like in kind in this exile that we can do. All right, so that's that mitzvah. Let's go to the second one. It says, if a thief must make restitution. So if he has nothing, he himself is to be sold to make good on the loss from the theft. You have to sell yourself in servitude. There's a reason why you're stealing in the first place. It's probably because you broke. Okay? You don't have any money in the first place. That's why you're stealing or whatever. So now you're going to have to sell yourself into servitude, okay? If you can't make restitution. It says, if what was stole is found alive in his possession, he is to pay double, no matter whether it is an ox, a donkey, or a sheep. Now we can kind of substitute those things out. We can do it in specificity and say it's those particular animals, but we can also substitute that for our things as well, okay, that we have. You stole my German Shepherd and, so on and so forth. We can apply this kind of pejoratively, okay? So we have an understanding. What's the intent? You weren't supposed to be stealing in the first place, but it's also to make sure, again, that if you do steal, the intent is that you have to make restitution at the end of the day, okay? Can we carry that out in exile? He said we can do it now. Not necessarily how Hebrew Israel do it, but it's very darn close. Okay? All right. So we're good. All right. We're learning the mitzvot. 4, the next one, it says, if a person causes a field or vineyard to be grazed over or lets his animals loose to graze in someone else's field, here again, already we're setting up protecting other people from property damage for things that you may be causing. It kind of goes in realm with those ones about building a parapet on top of your roof so someone doesn't fall off and hurt themselves, or causing some type of distress in the community under something that you had control over. This is what this is dealing with. It says, if a person causes a field or vineyard or to be grazed over or let his animals loose to graze in someone else's field, he is to make restitution from the best of his own field and vineyard, right? Okay, so we got an understanding of what that is. Do we understand the intent? Okay, I see bobbleheads going with the intent. Okay, the intent again, and we're not trying to steal from people, but the intent is that I got to make restitution for something that I did. It's kind of this accountability thing, okay, that's going on. Can we? She said it's expensive. That's it, right. The Most High is going, listen, you hurting somebody. Will we read that mitzvot last week that says if you beat somebody almost to the point of death, and then they are able to go back outside, then you don't have to take care of them. But all the while they're recovering, guess who's paying them bills? You are. You paying for their lost wages, and you paying for their hospital bills. Now, we did bring up the fact that, hey, you can make restitution in this day and age by suing that individual. But I want to make a distinction between Hebrew Israel and westernized culture. That's already built into the mitzvot already. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no, oh, okay, I got to go down to the courthouse and sue you for it. No, you're going to pay it. Period. Okay? That's the difference. Okay, let's go on to this next one. If a person entrusts, okay, here we go. Do we got mitzvot on borrowing and people, taking oh, what, I missed one? Yes, I jumped down to the next one before it. If a fire is started and it spreads to thorns so that the stacked grain, standing grain, or a field is destroyed, the person who lit it must make restitution. Okay, simply put, you caused it, you gonna pay for it. Somebody come in here and commits arson, they're going to pay for this whole entire place. And it's going to be built immaculately because Hebrews have gold on the walls and gold everything, gold chains and gold everything. Okay. I told you, Moray, that in a podcast. I said, remember in the Holiness Church, they told us you couldn't wear jewelry? We read a whole bunch of mitzvahs where it says the Hebrew Israel was decked out in gold and jewels and all kinds of things. So where did we get to? Well, it makes sense because they're Christians. Let's keep moving. Y'all want to look homely, y'all go on ahead. But us Hebrews, we shining over here. Anyway. Looking like a little house on the prairie. Y'all go on ahead. Oh, man, what did I leave? I'm trying to have fun with this thing. It says, again, accountability. If you started it, then you need to go ahead and take care of it, okay? And this is, we can, do this in exile as well. If you started something, especially within Hebrew Israel, and you damage something, you need to pay for it. Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay, so that is the translation that the book that we're using. In some books, it's verse 6. Some books, it's verse 7. So that's what those parentheses mean. It's just the way that Stern, the writer of the book, has set up his liturgy, his text. Okay, let's go on. No problem. That's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to ask questions and get your questions answered reasonably. Okay? Not, okay, I'm going to sit you down in the back. You just wait until I actually get to you, okay? Or I'll answer it spiritually. See, because the 6 became before the 7. That means that Jesus came before God. And no. You're spiritualizing too much. Why don't you just give me the real answer? Let's keep going. It says, if a person entrusts a neighbor with money or goods, I know none of y'all do that, and they are stolen from the trustee's house, okay? Then, if the thief is found, I give you something, I entrusted it to you. You hold on to it, and some fool came in and stole it. Okay? It says, if the thief is found, or the fool that took it is found, he must what? Pay double. All right. But if the thief is not found, then the trustee must state before El that he did not take the person's goods himself. That is fair. Listen, in this day and age, I could sue you for it, right? Somebody came in the house and took it. I don't care. I'm going to sue you for it. At least in Hebrew Israel, there's a way to actually be able to say, okay, I trust on your word. Before who? Not before me. Let's go before the Most High, okay? And if you're willing to stand in front of the opulent spirit and say to the opulent spirit that I didn't steal it, then I have to accept it, okay? It's beautiful, all right? And it also makes you what? Accountable at the end of the day. We understand the mitzvot. We understand its intent. Can we do that in exile? No. Why? Because I have to bring you before El in this particular instance. In specificity, where is El? El is in the land.
Well, right.
Yes, sir.
This particular mitzvot in an application can only be done by by a person who knows the Most High and has fear and reverence for the Most High.
Yes. True.
So you can tell me that you are saying this before Yahweh or Elohim, that you didn't do it. I have to know that I trust that you have fear and respect for the Most High in what you're saying. Or I can take your word for it and tell you, if you're not speaking the truth, then, and you're lying on the Most High says, woe to him who has said that I have said and I have not. Now you put yourself in the fear of judgment by the Most High for making a claim that was not true.
That was false. Correct. 100%. Now, let's also add this in here too. Who is this to? Hebrew Israel, okay? I lend you something and you somebody else, oh yeah, I'm coming after you for it. I ain't got to listen to a word you say. I'm going to take every advantage that I have. But if you're Hebrew Israel, I have to do it differently, okay? Just like with Hebrew Israel, what's the mitzvot that talks about if I take a loan and I go ahead, I can't lend to you at what? Interest. I can't do that. But somebody that's outside of Hebrew Israel, I can lend to them at interest, okay? So it happens a little bit different for and the exclusivity of Hebrew Israel. Okay, let's go on to 9. It says, in the case over a dispute of ownership. Hopefully a story comes to mind when you actually hear this mitzvah. In every case of a dispute over ownership, who owns something, whether of an ox, a donkey, a sheep, clothing, or any missing property, where one person says, this is mine, both parties are to come before El, and the one whom El condemns must pay the other one double. I can only think of a couple of ways that you would actually do that. Anybody want to help me out with that one? I think of one way that comes to mind where it says, and I want to harp on this issue that says, both parties are to come before El, and the one whom El condemns. How does that happen? Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm standing on my own on this one, okay? There are two things on that Kohanim's breastplate that talks about, okay, when you go ahead and the Umnium and Tumium, right? When it says, okay, this is like a yes or no thing in front of the Most High. Okay, there's also issues when, let's say in the case of infidelity, and a woman comes in there and she says something, and then she's supposed to take the dust off of the floor, and they put it in this particular, they make a drink out of it, and then she's supposed to drink it, and if her insides expand or whatnot, then she's lying, okay? It's stuff like that. So what I'm saying is that's the only thing that comes to mind on how that would be carried out. If somehow the Kohanim would have to be involved in that issue, and that rendering would come through some type of what we've seen before, possibly through the breastplate of the Kohanim Hagadol to settle a dispute. Okay, but again, that's going to like the Supreme Court on stuff, because in Hebrew Israel we have intermediate leaders that go ahead and judge these things prior to getting to that point. This has to be pretty serious at that point to get up to that particular issue. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, Moray, that the one example that we have in Texas, the two women that claimed the same baby because the one rolled over on hers, and they went before King Shlomo.
Yeah, that's the one I was referring to. And I'm glad you hit that one. We are both on the same page, because I went and looked it up, and I wanted to see whether or not King Shlomo actually consulted the Most High prior to that. And the text doesn't really talk about that in that particular piece. It kind of he rendered his particular his decision. Everybody know that story that the Moray's talking about? Two prostitutes. They were prostitutes. They lived together. They both had babies 3 days apart. One goes to sleep. They both go to sleep. One rolls over her child and suffocates the child to death. The woman that suffocated her child went to the other woman and took her baby while she was asleep. They switched the babies, and now they both come before King Shlomo saying, this baby's mine. So what does King Shlomo say? Go get me a big knife, and we're going to cut this baby in half, and you can have the lower half, and she can have the top half. right? And so the mother, the real mother, says, no. Let her have the baby. I'd rather see the baby live than have the baby get cut in half. And that's when King Shlomo said, that's the real mother right there. Yeah, because the other woman said, go ahead and just kill it. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and kill it. I'm glad that you added that in there. Okay, that's what the Moreh is talking about. And I scoured that to see whether or not he had used this mitzvah as the basis of his decision making when he was doing that, which I didn't see too much evidence of it, but it's very reminiscent of a dispute that happens between two people over ownership over something. Okay, good example. All right, let's move on. It says in 13, it says, ooh, am I down that far? Where did I go? Where did I leave off, y'all? Come on, help me out. 10? You see how I'm trying to rush through this? Y'all come pull me back. 10, if a person trusts a neighbor to look after a donkey, ox, sheep, or any animal, and it dies, is injured, or is driven away, then the neighbor's oath before Eya Asher Eya that he has not taken the goods will settle the matter between them. Kind of reminiscent of the mitzvot that we had prior, right? Okay. The owner is to accept it without the neighbor's making restitution. But if it was stolen from the neighbor, he must make restitution to the owner. If it was torn to pieces by an animal, the neighbor must bring it as evidence, and then he doesn't need to make good on the loss. We're providing a burden of proof. The Most High, again, is kind of reminiscent of that mitzvot preceding it, right? It's talking about two individuals that when something is stolen, you're the trustee of it. Hey, it was stolen from me. You go to the front of the Most High. It's kind of reminiscent of the same thing, okay? Can we carry this out in exile? What would you say? Anybody's thoughts? Can we carry this out in exile? Yeah. We can hold Hebrews accountable. Absolutely. Making restitution. It was in your care. Something happened to it. Pay me double. Okay? And then in the instance that something happened to it where it's beyond your control, present the evidence. And then that will be sufficient enough to say, hey, listen, it got destroyed somehow out of my control. Okay? We have a way to make restitution that way. Let's keep going. 4, if someone borrows something from his neighbor, if I borrow your earrings, if I borrow your chain, if I borrow your car, if I borrow your money, if someone borrows something from his neighbor and gets it injured or dies with the owner not present, he must make restitution. It was in your care and something happened to it, it got destroyed. In this instance, they're using an animal that says it died, okay? It says, if the owner was present, he need not make good on the loss. That says that if I borrowed something for you and I was basically, let's think of it this way, I was renting it from you and you were right beside me and the thing fell over dead over there or it got destroyed, then I don't have to make restitution to you because it was in the presence and you witnessed what happened. Why am I making restitution for something you actually saw too? I didn't do anything to it. I rented the thing out and the thing broke down on me. Okay? Why am I paying for it? So this is why it's saying here, it says the owner was present and need not make good on the loss. If the owner hired it out, the loss is covered by the hiring fee. We can function in this particular way too, okay? We can carry this mitzvah out in exile, all right? We understand it. Something's in your possession. You rented it out from somebody else. It got destroyed. If they were there, not under your control, you don't have to make restitution. Okay? It died. Something happened to it. Wasn't in my control. Okay? 15. Okay, now we get into the juicy ones. What does it say? If a man seduces who? Don't forget that. What does she got to be? A virgin. Who is not engaged. She's a virgin. She's not engaged. Right? To be married and sleeps with her. He must pay the bride price for her. Come on, Moreh Jashai. You're going to help me out with this one. Okay? You quote this all the time. It says he must pay the bride price for her to be his wife. There's that cultural thing in Hebrew Israel that consummation means marriage. You're going to have to pay the bride price for this woman. Okay? In the issue of what? She is a what? Virgin. Not engaged to be married. Okay? It says, but if her father says this thug, this fool, this deviant, right? But if her father refuses to give her to him, he must pay the sum equivalent to the bride price for virgins. So the bride price for virgins and the bride price are two different numbers. All right? Mores, embellish. He said either way you got to pay. Okay. You need to be very cognizant of who you are trying to seduce, men. Who you are. Listen, because in Hebrew Israel, that constitutes marriage. And you're going to be paying some money. All right? Okay? Your out-of-pocket fees are going to be insurmountable. Yes, sir.
Maury, I was just going to say, if she's not a virgin, she's probably already married, and that would constitute adultery and death.
Oh, in what regard in this particular mitzvot?
If she wasn't a virgin, she was
Oh, if she wasn't a virgin.
She was probably already married.
She was already, okay.
And that would constitute adultery, which is death.
Which is death, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, man. Mamore, come on.
Oh, I was saying that.
I like that. Oh, I was just going to tell you this.
Yeah, not much. No.
It's beautiful. Yes, ma'am.
The bride price is to establish the young lady's honor.
Yes, I agree. Thank
She
you.
has not been diminished.
Yes.
So that a man may choose her, and
Yes.
she has to honor her properly.
Yes, I believe. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Way better than I ever would have done. I'm glad the Morey walked over and gave you that. You know why? Because we continue to keep addressing this issue, which I need to do a better job of, making people understand that women in Hebrew Israel are a protected class. Okay? We protect our women. We do not try to diminish their value by doing things that would humiliate them or dehumanize them. Okay? They are a protected class of people, or a protected gender, because there are only two. Okay. I know some of them are in that chat room. Anyway, where did I leave off? 17. He said, no, I ain't going to say that. You're gonna get nothing anyway. Do we understand it? Do we understand the intent? Can we do that in exile? The one I just read, the one that the Moray just talked about. Can we do that one in exile? Yes, you can do that one in exile. This is amongst Hebrews, and this is how Hebrews function, okay? All right? Okay. Next one. This has got to be so simple. You are not to permit a sorceress to live. This is one of the reasons why King Shaul got kicked off of his post, because he went and consulted a sorcerer under a disguise, and when that sorcerer conjured up whom? Shemuel. We know that was false all the way around, because they shouldn't have been alive in the first place. First of all, why, Shaul, are you allowing sorcerers to even be in the community, period? And again, you consulting with him. So you want to consult JC now? Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. You can consult him. He ain't going to do nothing for you. I said a sorcerer. Okay? Idolatry, leading you into something different other than the Most High. That's what the intent is. I am Most High. I am your only El. You do not consult anybody other than me. Period. Okay. So, easy to understand? You know the intent? Can we do that in exile? Magnanimously, this should be a yes, obviously. So what does this mean for us? You're not going to see Miss Cleo. Oh, I got the cards for you so y'all can see what's going on with your tarot card today. We don't consult the stars. Oh, the Mercury retrograde and all that other stuff. We don't consult underarm crystals or anything else. Oh, okay. I got people in the front trying to get my attention. Okay. You can't kill these folks. Right. Okay, thank you. Let me. I'm got overzealous. Calm down. Can we do that? Can we do it in the instance of observing the fact that we are not supposed to be going to sorcerers? Let me clean that up. Sorry, I got overzealous. The answer to the real question is, can you do that mitzvah in exile? Part of it, no, because you are not going out killing people doing vigilante justice in exile. That's the specifics. What the intent is basically what I was speaking of, which is you not consulting a sorcerer or having a sorcerer even around you, okay? Sorcerer come through these doors, I expect everybody to get their stones. Never mind. Whoever has sexual relations with Barney, whoever has sexual relations with Fido, with El Gato, Puss in Boots, any of your favorite animals, okay? Chipmunks, beavers, squirrels, snakes, whatever you decide.
Johnny, quit diddling the
He said, quit diddling the chickens. Whoever has sexual relations with an animal must be what? Put to death. Sorry to say, westernized culture, if y'all are condoning bestiality, it's not going to work in Hebrew Israel. Okay? Hebrew Israel does not engage in bestiality. That is an easy one to understand. You understand the intent. Your body was not designed as a man to be stuck somewhere that it shouldn't be. Okay? Your body was designed to be with a woman, not with an animal. And ladies, you too. Okay? Whatever y'all doing in Dubai, with whatever you're doing it with. Y'all gonna do your research on that one. Yeah, go do your research on that one, what's going over in Dubai. Whew, okay. We are not to do that, right? Can we do this in exile? Correct. We are not to have sexual relations with animals, and we don't do that as Hebrews. You can absolutely do this. You can observe this mitzvah by not participating in bestiality. Not participating in bestiality. Anyone who sacrifices, okay, here we go. Is this across the street, people? Anyone who sacrifices to any L.
Wow. Pretty straightforward.
Anybody who sacrifices to any L other than Asher Yahweh, El Shaddai, Yahweh Sevaot, Yahweh Nisi, Yahweh Yahweh, alone is to be completely destroyed. He said that 1/3. I don't know how emphatically clear you can be. Maybe that's why this is news to some people, because y'all have never read it while y'all was in Christianity. And probably, and even if you did, I go back to what my Moray said earlier, because the word God is used in there and it's not associated with the Most High, because every time you look at the word God in a Christian book, there's only one name that's associated with God, and that's JC.
Okay, let's fix it. Okay.
Why are you fixing my stuff?
No,
I was on a roll.
No.
Yeah, you just shot. I did that whole entire thing. You was like,
No, you're right. You're right. I'm only going to read the problem. You're right. I'm only going to read the problem.
I'm messing with you.
Here's the problem. Mm-hmm. He that sacrifices to any god, save unto the Lord only.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah, to the Lord only. Yeah, who they think that is?
So across the street, the Lord is JC,
right?
Who is God. So they are not going to understand the Hebraicness of the text because of the way their text is written.
Correct, because of that detraction of the proper name of the Most High being inserted into the text.
Yes.
So here we have a clear example that because the name is missing, you miss the whole entire meaning of this already. And you can substantiate a whole entire religion based off of the do you see how powerful the name of the Most High is? That once you remove his name, now all kinds of idolatry can be inserted and misconstrued because you don't designate who this is from and who this is for.
That's my point.
If we simply just drill in on who that is, now we can understand. That's the whole entire thing. When you go through this book, in Christianity, his name's not there. That's why you can support it that way. It can be anything you want it to be. Okay? All right, let's move on. We on good ground. All right, let's keep moving. It says, you must neither wrong. Did I go through? Can we do that in exile? I didn't ask that question. It says, anyone who sacrificed to any El other than Yahweh alone is to be completely destroyed. Obviously, we cannot go out and do vigilante justice against anybody, but we can definitely be exclusionary and be obstinate against those individuals that go ahead and do this kinds of things. In so much of the sense that, again, I want to clean this up a little bit, because a lot of our people, because we understand it the way we do, and we know that they are Hebrew Israel and they don't know it yet. Okay, so this is this issue of grace that the Most High has given those individuals, but in specificity to Hebrew Israel, folks that know, there's a difference between being Hebrew Israel and being ignorant. That's your Hebrew Israel. Then you know you Hebrew Israel and you doing this. Okay, there's a difference. And in so much, if you're Hebrew Israel and you're doing this and you're in exile, obviously we still can't take out vigilante justice, but if we were in the land, you'd be dead as fried chicken. Okay?
But I can rebuke you frankly.
But I can, thank you. That's where we started. It's upon, you will, listen, out of the mouth of the community, you will hear your rebuke first. If you don't even hear the Most High will talk to you first, because you will know the mitzvah. You know that you're breaking it. And then he'll remind you out of the mouth of the people. So you've been given opportunities. Okay? So, don't be afraid. Take courage. Rebuke your brother frankly. Yes, you were saying something to me. Okay. I love my little family in the front. They keep me on track. Dad, don't say that. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. You must neither wrong nor oppress. Okay, here we go. Let's clean this one up for all of y'all that got an issue with the foreigner. All right? You must neither wrong nor oppress a foreigner living among you. Why? For you yourselves were foreigners in the land of Mitzrayim. Okay, now, foreigner, again, in Hebrew Israel, let me be very quick on this one, okay? Foreigners. You were a foreigner too. Let's not get it twisted. You were a foreigner. We don't oppress them. Right? Okay? We respect them. They have specific mitzvot that they have that are for them. Okay? In the sense that there are some things that they cannot participate in. The bloodline of Hebrew Israel is there for them. They're separated in some instances. The foreigner, when we talk about that, we're talking about nations. We're not talking about skin color. Okay? Because the foreigner can be black and they can be a lighter hue. Okay? Remember, there were 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. Okay? You're from the lineage of whom? Shem. There's 2 other brothers that are out there. One of them other brothers is dark, like you, or even darker than you. So it cannot be about color. This is about nations of people, okay? But it doesn't negate the fact that when we're talking about the foreigner, we don't oppress them. We're not going to be out on the corner talking about, and read and lick my boot because you're supposed to be underneath me because you're white. Read. No. Okay? We don't degrade anybody. Okay? What does it say? We just read the mitzvah earlier today. It says, when I'm rebuking you or doing you something, treat me as I would want to be treated. Okay? Okay? I know that, listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say the quiet parts out loud. I know that there's a lot of animosity that comes out of slavery in some of us. Okay? And we got a thing for some of these folk. Okay? But that doesn't negate the fact that you have to operate within the auspices of Hebrew Israel, irrespective of whatever happened to our ancestors back in the day, okay? We've taken on the mind of the Most High. And see, there's a hush in Israel. I must be hitting some nerves. We honor the foreigner. You were once one too. And they gave you the choicest land. You were in Goshen. You lived amongst the Egyptians. They worked you to death, but you were worked in to death and you went home in the suburbs, okay? It says that land was rich, Goshen. All right. Can we do this in exile? Yes. It says you are neither to wrong nor oppress the foreigner living among you. Can we do that in exile? Yes. Okay. Plain and simple. All right. Let's keep moving. You are not to abuse the widow or the orphan. Is that a man or a woman? It's both. Can I not be a widow if I'm a man? Can I be a widow if I'm a woman? Okay. I think we oftentimes think of that as a woman, but that says a widow, okay? Or an orphan. This is not a gender issue here, okay? It says, if you do abuse them in any way and they cry to me, you are coming at me sideways. You're attacking me with your mouth on Facebook. Never mind. You're doing all these types of things on social media. You're physically maybe attacking me. Okay? If you abuse them in any way and they cry to me, I will certainly heed their cry. My anger will burn and I will kill you with the sword. Your own wives will be widows, and your own children will be fatherless. Well, this is like a double whammy if you're over here.
You mean to tell me?
Oh, boy.
You mean to tell me all I need to do is certainly cry out to the Most High?
Yeah, it says that.
And his anger will burn, and he will kill my abuser? Is that what this text is saying to me?
Oh, my gosh. That's what it say.
I better start crying.
Listen, this abuse is very broad, okay? What's the point? Widows and orphans we take care of. We do not go ahead and treat them with some type of ill will. Why? Everybody in Hebrew Israel is kind of taken care of, okay? If I'm an orphan, okay, let's say in the instance I'm a widow, right? I'm an older woman and I'm a widow. Or a man, but I'm just going to use a woman this time. This is a woman. And she's her livelihood, I guess, her subsistence is coming from her husband. And that's no longer there anymore, okay? Now, unless he has some type of inheritance upon which she can live on, she might be a little hard-pressed. Or the man might be a little hard-pressed, okay? We're to take care of them. We're not going to exploit you because you're a widow. I'm not going to exploit you because you're an orphan, because of your situation, okay? I know that you don't X, X, and X. You don't have any protection, so I'm going to go ahead and do X, X, and X because you're a widow, okay? That's what I'm talking about exploiting somebody because of their situation, okay? We don't abuse people in that way. We are sympathetic to their situation, especially with widows and orphans, okay? Because they're people within the community that may actually may have a hardship, may or may not, but we help those individuals out. Come on, chime in, please.
I was just going to say because they're the least in Israel and they're the ones that have the least a way to defend themselves, and they're the easiest to prey upon.
I like that even better. I like that explanation even better. They have no protection. And so therefore, we're not going to exploit them. Thank you. This is why we have these open discussions like this, because all of you are adding to the discord. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Whoa. He's giving you the microphone. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Although we are saying it can be male or female, most of the definitions are saying women.
Women, yeah.
There's only one of the 10 that I'm looking at right now that says widower, which would be the male.
Which would be a male. Okay, so you're saying, okay. First thing they think about, yeah. When they think about a widow, again, yeah, because it's in context of a woman, okay? But it's not a gendered thing. Now, in most instances, I think the man would be okay, but I think in most instances, we're going to be obviously more protective of the women than we are going to be the man. But they're still orphans. I'm not saying they're still widows. But my moray back there is chuckling like a whole Chester cat grin on his face because he is a widow. And so he now becomes not only a father who is a protected class, he also becomes what a widower, that's a protected class. So, and then also we're going to get to this other part of here later on that says, I'm going to read down a little bit. Go to 27. I'm going to talk to you about how you're part of another protected class. Go down to 27. We're just going to skip it real quick. 27 says, you are not to curse, and you are not to do what? Curse your leader. He falls into another category. Okay? So, but anyway, let's scroll back up. Let's get it, because I'm getting a little bit overzealous here because I'm skipping over the one we're going to have a midrash on. Let's go back up to 21. 24. Yeah. Whew. I'm going backwards and forwards today. If you loan money to one of, okay, this is specific to whom? Somebody in Israel who is poor. You are not to deal with them as would a creditor. You are not to charge him interest. That was what I talked about earlier. Now you have the receipt for it. Person in Israel, you're not to charge him interest. Now let's continue to read on because there's a caveat to this. It says, if you take your neighbor's coat as collateral, you are to restore it to him by sundown. You're poor. I'm looking at you because you just got a coat on. Yeah, you got a coat on. Look like a coat. You're poor. I'm not saying that you are. You're rich. And you go ahead and I need to lend you money. Can I lend you money at interest? No. That's the first thing. Can't lend you money at interest. And if I take your coat from you as collateral, is not what they do, banks do. You're familiar with that. What are you putting down as collateral for this? Okay? To show that you're in good faith going to return this. Okay? So if I take your coat for collateral, let's see what the mitzvot says about that. So if I take something from you that's a necessity that you need to survive, it's basically going to say I can't do that. Or at the end of the day, I have to return it back to you. Okay? Let's see how the mitzvot is reading. It says, if you take your neighbor's coat as collateral, you are to restore it to him by when? Sundown. There's a specific time in there. It says, because it is his only garment. Said he needs to wrap his body. What else does he have to which to sleep? Moreover, if he cries out to me, I will listen because I am compassionate. And that is the root and intent of that mitzvot right there. Is compassion towards your brother. I understand that you're poor, but I need some type of collateral. I got to hold you to something. I'm not going to charge you interest, but I'm going to hold you to something. But I understand this is something that you need to survive, so I'm going to return it back to you. It's compassion. Okay? All right. We got the understanding. We got the intent. Can we do that in exile? Yeah. Yes, you can, 100%. All right. 27. You are not to, we just went over this. You are not to curse and you are not to curse a leader of your people. Does anybody need an understanding for that? No. Okay. We reverence the Most High. We reverence our leaders. That's the intent, period, which is almost synonymous with the understanding. Can we do that in exile? Absolutely, 110%. Okay? You are not to delay offering from your harvest of grain, olive oil, or wine. So whatever, how I interpret this is whatever, now for modern day age, because a lot of us don't have grain, vineyards, or olive oil or wine to offer to the Most High, and obviously that would have to be offered where? Here in the land. How can we execute that in exile? Pejoratively saying, okay, the first of what I have. If I have something that I have to offer to the Most High, then I shouldn't delay in doing it. Okay? Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, if you got paid and you know that your tithing is due, and you say, "Well, I want to take this vacation, so I bought the ticket to the cruise trip and the airline tickets first, and said I'll make it up next month."
I'll make it up next month. He said, don't delay in what you're supposed to owe the Most High. I'm spilling water all over myself. There's a reason why. Oh, my goodness. Does everybody understand that? Is it good? Okay. Very good. Yes, ma'am. Come on.
All right. Well, we can do tithe when we return to the land because
True.
tithe is paid to the priest.
To the priests.
And that's the way the Most High structure. But we can return offerings. And so what we do when we get our money, then we support.
Absolutely. And that's where I was getting ready to go with this. And I'm glad that you got there first, because that's in essence what's happening here. And that's why I like to call into subjection those people across the street. Let me see how I'm going to tie this in here. Tithing is for whom? The priests. Because why? They don't have an inheritance. Okay? That's why it's for them. Now, our offerings and donations that we give, we shouldn't withhold those while we're in exile, okay? It's supporting Hebrew Israel, which is us. If we don't support Hebrew Israel, then what happens, right? So we shouldn't delay in doing that, okay? Excellent. Okay. Let me get myself together real quick. I got water all on my face. Okay. I think I'm good now. I think I'm good. Okay. So we've got that particular mitzvot squared away. Anything anybody want to add to it? Can we do this in exile?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. We can do this in exile. All right. Okay. Here's our barn burner. Matter of fact, I have to do these last two stanzas together. All right. Maybe not be a barn burner. You guys are pretty astute. It says, the first of your sons you are to give to me. You are to do the same with your oxen and sheep. It is to stay with its mother 7 days. And on the 8th day, you are to give it to me. Anybody want to add some significance to that? Come on. Huh? There you go. That's where I was getting ready to go. He said the circumcision. What happens on the 8th day? How do you give them back to the Most High? Circumcise them. Okay. Let's walk this real quick, okay? Because I want to emphasize something here. You are to do the same with your oxen and sheep. Matter of fact, let me go back and get the beginning of it. The firstborn of your sons you are to give to me. I'm going to read it 2 more times. The firstborn of your sons you are to give to me. Who's me? Yahweh. The Most High. The firstborn of your sons you are to give to me. The Moreh tied in, because when you read the back half of this mitzvot, talks about you're to give them to him on what day? The 8th day. Bereshit, chapter number 17, verse 9 through 14. Let's start there. I want to see if you guys see something. I may be way off base, but that's okay. That's why we're here. I said verse 9. Yes. Bereshit. Let me put this water down because I'm having a little bit of a trouble with it today. Bereshit 17, verse 9, verse 14. It's like, why he keep picking up that water and it's all over his face like he just got done spitting on himself? It says what? Yahweh said to who? Abraham. As for you, you are to keep my covenant. You and your descendants after you, generation after generation. Here is my covenant, which you are to keep between me and you, along with your descendants after you. Is that all of you in here? Yes, it is. Okay. Every male among you is to be circumcised. You are to be circumcised in your flesh of your foreskin. This will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. Generation after generation, every male among you is, who is how many days old? 8 days old is to be circumcised, including slaves born within your household and those brought from the foreigner, not descended from you. The slave born in your house and the person bought with your money must be circumcised. Thus, my covenant will be in your flesh as an everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who will not let himself be circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that person will be cut off from his people because he has broken my covenant. I'm interjecting here 2 ideas. In this particular text, it says every male, which would include the firstborn, right? Right. It's every male, which would include the firstborn. But we also have this mitzvah that we just talked about, that those firstborn males are specifically set aside for the Most High, right? Okay, so I'm establishing one thing. When we're talking about circumcision, it's all males. The firstborn out of all the males is set aside for the Most High. Okay? Is that clear? Okay. Let's go on to my next exhibit. Exhibit B, Vayikra, chapter number 12, verse 1 through 4. Now, in the text that we just read, it says that the child still stay with the mother for 7 days, and then they're supposed to be given to the Most High. We're tying that to circumcision. Let's go over to 12, verse 1. It says, Yahweh said to Moshe, tell the people of Israel, if a woman conceives and gives birth to a boy, she will be unclean for how many days? 7 days. Okay, that 7 comes up again. It says, with the same uncleanliness as in Nidah, when she is having her menstrual period, on the what day? 8th day, the baby's foreskin is to be what? Circumcised. Okay, the baby's going to stay with the mother. Okay, it's consistent. Okay, on the 8th day, the baby's going to be circumcised in their foreskin. She will wait an additional 33 days to be purified from her blood. She is not to touch any unholy thing or come into the sanctuary until the time of her purification is over. Okay, that's the finishing of that particular piece. So again, I'm establishing 8th day, child is circumcised. We're giving them to the Most High. I'm going to read another supporting text. Let's go to Shemote, chapter number 34, verse 19 through 20. It's going to establish this idea that we established before. Everything from the womb, first of the womb, is mine. Everything. Y'all ain't not. Okay. I'm trying to drive this issue home because I want this light to. Maybe you got it already. Everything from first of the womb is mine. Who's me? The Most High. But every male has to be what? Circumcised. Okay, 34, 19 through 20. Everything that is what? First from the womb is whose? The Most High's. All of your livestock you are to set aside for me, the males, the firstborn of the cattle and flock. The firstborn of the donkey you must redeem with the lamb. If you won't redeem it, break its neck. All firstborns of your sons you are to redeem, and no one is to appear before me empty-handed, right? All of the firstborns are the Most High's. Now we're going to throw a curveball in here. Bamidbar, chapter number 18. That's Numbers, chapter number 18, verse 15. All of the firstborn, you saying this, all of the firstborn are whose? Most High's. Okay. He's already there. 18, Bamidbar, 18 and 15. Reconcile this for me, Hebrews. Especially you. You smart. You in college right now. You studying. You going to help me out. Okay. It says, everything that comes first out of the womb of all living things they offer to Yahweh, whether human or animal, will be yours. Yes, sir. You got your hand raised in the back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't be the Most High. So, okay. So, JC, what you're saying is that if he's, say that again. So the Most High says that Israel is his firstborn. Israel is his firstborn. That's correct. That's in Shemote, chapter number 4, verse 22. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. He's saying JC's lineage doesn't necessarily come from Israel. One could argue that if you trace it, for his bloodline, it's from Levi. Because he's coming out of his mother. Okay? We don't know, well, the speculation, because the comment was we don't know who his daddy is. And we know that how does a woman get pregnant? No, nobody answer. I'm looking at this beautiful lady with all this Louis Vuitton on. How does a woman get pregnant? Oh, through intercourse. With air? No? With a person. With a man. Right? Where in the history of text do we ever see anybody getting pregnant out the blue? I use this analogy all the time. You got a daughter and she's virgin and then she shows up pregnant and you're going to be like, and she tells you, Mom, I'm pregnant. It's like, oh, I thought you was waiting till you got married to conceive and have a child. He's no, I got pregnant by the Holy Spirit. Look at you. You laughed immediately. Exactly. That's going to be everybody's reaction. Girl, have you lost your mind? Right? And so that's why Joseph acts the way he does when it says Joseph is a righteous man. Joseph was trying to break off the engagement, right, from her. Why would he be breaking off the engagement if this child is in there? But I'm spending too much time on JC, okay? I'm spending way too much time on him. Let's get back to this. Remember what I said earlier. If the prior mitzvot say to you that everything out of the womb, the first thing out of the womb, male child is mine, then how do you reconcile Bamidbar 18 and 15 that says everything that comes first out of the womb of all living things that they offer to Yahweh? What are you offering to Yahweh? What's a sacrifice? Well, not sacrifice, because we don't sacrifice humans. What is offered to the Most High on the 8th day? The child. Then why does he say it's whether human or animal will be yours? Come on, bruh B. You gave it all away. Sit down. Tired of you astute Hebrews in here jacking my whole entire up. You ain't got to apologize. That's how you understand this. The Most High is completely consistent. Scroll up, bruh B, all the way up to the top. It says that he's talking to Aharon. And when you understand that Aharon is now been given, when you read the back part of that mitzvah, he says that that's going to be yours. Aharon is taking over. He's inheriting all of the things that the Most High, the things that they dedicate to the Most High, the Aharon has it now. Okay? So technically Aharon is the representative, or the Kohanim Hagadol is the representative of the Most High. So it's not inconsistent with the rest of the text that's been written. You're reading it as if it will be yours, mine. People that are going, no, this is talking about to Aharon. It says Aharon said, Yahweh said to Aharon, You read all the way down. You got to read the pretext first. The pretext has the answer in it. He keeps continuing to talk to him. Yes, come on. Yeah, when you give to your tithing, it goes to the priesthood. Goes to you, which is the priest. We got to understand that the Most High's representative in the Aharet is the Kohanim Hagadol. That's why he's saying, you're representing me. Now it belongs to you. It was coming to me, but now it's going to come to you. Okay? Now you can read it. When we read that again, now we're going to take out the word you and put Aharon in there. Okay? So let's go back down to 15. I looked at that for about a good 15 minutes, and I said, this can't be. See, because what this will do if you're doing what Christians do, which is come over to our text, cherry pick something out of there without it being in context, now you can make it into anything you want it to be. That's why they sit there and say, unto us a child is born, unto us a son will be given, when we call him Emmanuel, when you don't take any of the context of what's written in there. That's to King Ahaz. That's not to... Anyway, all right. It says anything that comes first out of the womb of all living things which they offer to Yahweh, which would be those set aside for the Most High, those firstborn of the animals that come out of the womb for the Most High, whether human or animal, will be Aharon's. However, the firstborn of a human being you must redeem. It is a mitzvah. You have to redeem the firstborn. It says, of a human being must be redeemed. And the firstborn of an unclean beast you are to redeem. The sum to be paid, redeeming anyone a month old. I don't know if, y'all help me out. Now there's a mitzvah. Let me just read the rest of it. It says, the sum to be paid, redeeming anyone a month old or over, is to be how much? 5 shekels. I did this for my firstborn son. I didn't have 5 shekels. We used 5 silver dollars. Okay? I still have them. You still got them. Excellent. It says 2 ounces as you value it. Using the sanctuary shekel, this is the same as 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of an ox, sheep, or goat you are not to redeem. They are set apart. You are to splash their blood against the altar and make their fat go up in smoke as an offering made by fire, as a fragrant aroma to Yahweh. Their meat will be yours, like the breast that is wrapped and the right thigh. They will be yours. You would have to know about the mitzvot on the sacrifices for peace offerings and whatnot. This is where all this stuff comes from. That's been Vayikra. It says, all contributions of the set apart things which the people of Israel are to offer to Yahweh, I have given to Aharon. You and your sons and your daughters, Aharon's family. This will be a perpetual law, an eternal covenant of salt before Yahweh for you and your descendants with you. Now, I'm trying to remember here. I was getting ready to make a point. When we did that, it would have been on the 8th day. And in that separate issue, as soon as he was a month old, that's when we would have gone ahead and given him the 5 shekels. It's representing, obviously, it's to the Kohanim Hagadol that's here in the land and all that. That's the issue here. Where I'm talking about is symbolic. Okay, I'm trying to practice the mitzvah in exile, so when I get there, it will be easy. Okay, that's in specificity. We also have to draw in Kohanim. Where is this at? It's in a specific place at a specific time. But while we're in exile, there's some things that we can do, just like the Shabbat. I could read you things on the Shabbat that says we're supposed to offer a sacrifice on the Shabbat. Who does the sacrificing? The Kohanim in the land. So we're only doing a portion of what we can do, but it's still perpetual. You still do what you can do, okay? You don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. So, I can't do that, so I'm just going to throw the whole entire mitzvah out, okay? So that was just symbolic of us when we offered those 5 shekels for my firstborn. You're going to add something, sir?
No, I want to go back to the issue of Brit Milah,
okay.
circumcision on the 8th day of the child.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to read something that is written in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and starting at verse 14. And this is Paul's postulation on circumcision.
Mm-hmm.
Only let each one live the life the Lord has assigned him, and live in the condition he was in when El called him. This is the rule I lay down in all congregations.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not the Most High talking. Paul's talking.
Yes.
Was someone already circumcised when he was called? Then he should not try to remove the marks of his circumcision. I don't know how you do that.
Right.
Was someone uncircumcised when he was called? He shouldn't undergo Brit Milah.
Mm-hmm.
Now listen to him. Being circumcised means nothing.
Mm-mm.
Being uncircumcised means nothing. You hear what he's saying? Whoa, wait, we're not through yet. We're not through yet. What does mean something is keeping Yahweh's commandments. Now, if that's not
a contradiction,
if that's not ambiguous, twisted, and messed up, and a contradiction, when on the basis of his testimony in Philippians, this contradicts the whole stature and nature of Paul.
100%.
He's going to tell you it's not important when he knows that he was Brit Milad on the 8th day. It's just part of his testimony.
That's right.
Acts 24,
14
says he believes everything that's written in the law and the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to come around and tell me that it means nothing. However, what does mean something is keeping God's commandments. Come on. Come on.
It's in the commandments to do the circumcision. How in the world are you sitting there saying that it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day?
Is that not twisted?
Very, very much so.
But you believe Paul.
Exactly. But you believe Paul, but you won't believe anything else that's written in the text that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. Okay. So we resolved that. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 100%. It separates us totally. So the comment was that when you don't do that, it separates you from the Most High 100%. Because when we read back there in Bereshit chapter number 17, when we had that liturgy that says you will be, matter of fact, your covenant, the covenant's not in you. So you don't have any inheritance to any of this at all. So when you're over there talking about, see, this is weird when they get over there and start talking about, I have Abraham's what? I have the blessings of Abraham. How is that possible? The only way that you get the blessings of Abraham is that you follow the ways of the Most High and your men are circumcised in their flesh. That's the seal of the covenant. If you're not teaching that and you're over here saying that they've been done away with, we don't have to do any of that stuff, then you're negating your blessings. It's an echo chamber that just, it just loops on itself. It doesn't go anywhere, right? Okay. Very good. Let's finish this last statement here, and then I'll get you out of here. Thank you for your patience today. I know I've took a little bit too much of your time today. Y'all want to rest instead of listen to me pontificate. I know you like that word all over the place. Let's do this last sentence. It says, matter of fact, let's ask this question before we move on. Can we do what's here? Of the firstborn you give to me, right? You are to do what? You are to do the same with your oxen and sheep. It is to stay with his mother for 7 days. For us folk, for kids, we absolutely did. I did that symbolically. On the 8th day, my firstborn were circumcised. And I gave the 5 shekels that it has in the commandment. All right? To redeem him like I was supposed to. So you can participate in this in exile. In specificity, it has to be given to the Kohanim Gadol in the land. So technically you could say it can't be done, but you can practice it. Can we say that? It can be practiced. Okay. You are to be my special, let's go down to this last one right before 23 and let you go. You are to be my special set apart people. Therefore, Why did y'all let your moray walk out on this? You know he going to give like 2 more dissertations on this one. Because this is talking about JC and the Paulettes again. A little bit. You could tie it into it if you wanted to. It says, therefore, you are not to eat any flesh torn by wild animals in the countryside. Rather, throw it out for the dogs. Okay? We do not eat roadkill. Okay? Something that has been torn up. Its flesh has been obliterated. Not supposed to do that. Okay? See a deer get hit by a car, don't put it in your back seat. Okay? We don't do stuff like that. That's roadkill. Anything that has been killed like that or torn apart, we don't do it. Okay? Throw it out for the dogs. Can we do that in exile? Absolutely, 100%. Okay, so it is relevant for us. All right, y'all reached the end of 22. Thank you. I appreciate y'all coming with me. The pilot has turned the fasten seatbelt signed off, and we are parked safely at the gate. Hope we wouldn't have too much turbulence up there as we were making it to our destination. Any questions or comments from the chat that we got to deal with before we go? We want to make sure everybody's got their questions answered. We are good in the chat. Are there any comments, reflections that we need to make here within the folk that are here? All right. We want to see you Shabbat. We want to see you in the Shabbat. If you can make it, that's between you and the Most High at this particular point. We did what we supposed to do in the mitzvot, right, bro B? We rebuked them frankly. We told them about the mitzvot. Be here, okay? Not be, well, you can be here, but what is most tantamount and important is you observe the mitzvot in a congregation that you can get to. That's what the mitzvot says congregate. Okay, y'all ready? Y'all ready to go? Okay, stand to your feet. It's so funny, I'm up here talking. I want to take this bottle of water and just put it on the side of this podium. Just pour all the water that's up here out of here. We're having so much of a problem with it today. Let me bless you before we leave. In Bad Midbar, chapter number 6, verse 24 through 26, it reads in the Hebrew. It says, Yivareka Yahweh v'yishmareka. Ya'er Yahweh panav eleka v'huneka, Yisa Yahweh panav eleka v'hasam leka shalom. Which simply means in English, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh El Shaddai, Yahweh Rapha, Yahweh Sivaot, Yahweh Yireh, the creator of all things, make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards you and give you shalom. West Coast Hebrews, until next time. Thank you. Hold on. We still...